Well, hi there, everybody. I'm Jack Church. And if you're listening via my podcast, this is The Jack Church Show. Of course, some of you may be watching via our YouTube channel as well. Either way, a warm welcome to each and every one of you out there. This one's going to be pretty short, but it's kind of a little interesting thought that I had today, and I think maybe some of you can relate, especially those of you who may have lost a husband or a wife, or maybe you were just in a relationship and now you find yourself all alone. And here's what I discovered today. And I've actually had this happen a few times, but today it really kind of hit home a little harder than usual. Not necessarily in a sad way, but just in an interesting way. I was taking my usual walk for the day, and right now I'm walking as well. And you probably hear my breath a little more. No, I'm not about to die of a heart attack or anything like that. I just finished walking about 3 miles. So I think I'm still acclimating to slowing down now. But anyway, I'm on my walk today and I go into our little historic downtown of Jacksonville, Oregon. And I then took a short break. There's a little coffee shop there. And so I got a cup of coffee, and they've got some tables outside and such. And first of all, let me say that when I went in the coffee shop, it's mandatory, and I put my mask on. And then when I came outside, I sat down on the tables where you don't have to wear a mask. Obviously, I'm having a cup of coffee, and there's some other people enjoying lunch and snacks and things like that out there. When up rolls this unbelievable looking classic automobile, and the driver is wearing a mask in the automobile. And it just kind of struck me as funny. It kind of looked like a Bonnie and Clyde movie, if you remember that old movie of the bank robbers and their mask and then the old classic car. So he pulls right up in front of the coffee shop. He's got his mask on. He gets out of the car, takes the mask off, and goes over and sits down at a table with a couple of other people to have lunch. And I just had to laugh. I went, that may be one of the oddest things I've seen in the middle of the pandemic. I know we've all seen a lot of odd things out there, but it just struck me as just so funny. And in my head, I started thinking, gee, I wonder if inside the classic car, is this the hotbed for Corona? Should I call somebody? Should we have the car, confiscated or quarantined? Because he looked pretty serious in that car with the mask on, and then got out and ditched the mask. So I don't know. Something going on in that car. Or was he maybe a robbery suspect? And that was the getaway car, and nobody could recognize him when he pulled away in his mask. And then he came to the restaurant and took it off and took a seat to have lunch so that nobody would notice him. I hadn't thought of that. But here's the point, though, of our loss in our life. So I've got that little funny story. And in the back of my head, sometimes I forget that my sweet Pam is no longer with me and in heaven. I thought, I can hardly wait to get home and tell Pam this. This is such a funny story. And then it hit me. No, she's not there. I don't have anyone to share my little funny story with at home. And it made me sad for a minute or two. And then it made me think that, of all the things that we miss when we lose a loved one, I think that's one of the things I miss most, is just being able to go home and share my day, share my experiences, and for her to share with me her day and her experiences. That's part of loss, part of the grief journey. Now, on the upside, I guess in some ways, of course, now I get to share my story here on my podcast. I can share it over social media. I can share it here on the YouTube channel. I've got a lot of places to share the funny story with, and maybe it made you laugh. I hope you've still got a sense of humor about all this. We seem to have lost a lot of that in the middle of the pandemic, so please, this was not a political statement about COVID. It was just a funny little story I wanted to share. And while I've enjoyed sharing it with you, I truly wish I could have shared it with Pam. I think she would have laughed. And I loved her laugh. She had a great laugh. She had a great sense of humor. A lot of people didn't really see that sometimes, but she did. She also had a little bit of a dark sense of humor at times as well. That's a whole nother episode though. So I don't really have any groundbreaking advice for how you handle this, but I guess in this day and age, maybe that is a benefit of social media. We can, while our loved one's not there to share our little funny stories with or share our day with, we can share it with the social media world. Then again, if you watch that documentary on Netflix called The Social Dilemma, you may go, oh no, I can't do that. Whew. Yeah, I watched it. A lot of the stuff we thought was true, it's happening. Oh well. Hey, that's about it for today. Once again, thanks for checking in with me here on The Jack Church Show. I hope if you enjoyed this podcast as well as our YouTube channel, you'll please share it with others and tell them, hey, you might want to listen to this. He's not that long-winded, and every now and then he's kind of funny. Every now and then he's kind of informative. Every now and then I'll learn a little something. Well, at least I hope so. And as I always say, make it a great day and a better tomorrow. Bye now.